guys? Welcome back to another episode of Business. I'm Matt Weik here with Jimmy Mentis. What's going on, brother?
How are you, Matt? What's going on?
I'm staying busy. Which is always a good thing.
You enjoying that little bench?
Yes. For those of you, what's he talking about? I have a home gym, pretty extensive, nothing like the Plitt like Jimmy has, but I spent quite a few dollars on it. And I've been looking for a seated bench. Nothing like super duper high end, but everything that I've been seeing has just been terrible quality. I didn't like it. It didn't have everything that I wanted on it. So, jokingly, I told Jimmy, I'm like, hey, I should talk to Mike, who we had on the show previously from Fitness Smith. I'm like, I should reach out to him. You ended up finding a seated bench. I don't think it was through Mike. I think it was through somebody else. But you're like, hey, which one of these do you like? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, pick which one. I'm like, that one. Like, okay, I'm going to ship it to you.
And I actually thought you were joking and you couldn't find one, or you couldn't find one that you liked.
No, I was dead serious. Like, I've been trying to find, when we talked about, or talked with Mike, I mentioned that I have a friend who's in Virginia Beach, or Richmond rather. And I kept bugging him. I'm like, hey, because he does the same thing. He has used equipment. He sells it to hotels, colleges, people who want home gyms. And he's like, I can't find what you want. And I'm like, why is it so hard to find a seated bench like I want? And you took the picture, and I'm like, that's it. Yeah. You're like, which one do you want? I'm like, that one. So it arrived.
It's funny because Fitness Smith has them all the time, but I took the ones that they had, because I walked into the warehouse. I'm like, I'll take that. And then you send me a picture. You were talking about it, and I'm like, I'll find you one. And then Trey got on your ass. It's like how hard is it to find one, Matt?
Yeah, but he has to remember, I'm like in the sticks in Pennsylvania. I mean, Berks County, I'm probably like one of 10 people who works out.
No. Is that why when that UPS tractor trailer pulled up, like people were like, oh my God, what is that?
Dude, you should have saw, like, all the neighbors came out and they were all just like looking down the street, like, what is this UPS freight truck doing? And of course they take off this they were probably wishing that. They were like, yes. I'm like, sorry, suckers, I'm just getting a bench. You're stuck with me. I'm gonna die in this house. But yeah, they're all like, what is going on? And then of course when they saw the piece of equipment, they were like, oh.
That little bench coming out of 18-wheeler.
Yeah, people were like, why did they send it in that big of a truck? I'm like, I don't know. That's just how it was delivered.
Yeah, obviously. I bet you that truck was filled. When we loaded it from here, it was halfway full.
Oh, well, see, it makes different stops and picks up different things, because like none of your stuff was on it when it got here.
Right.
But
they didn't drop off any Beauty Bum, any pallets of Beauty Bum over there.
Not that I would tell you that they made a mistake on. Oh, but yeah, it was funny. People were like, what is going on? Why is there a tractor trailer pulling up in our neighborhood?
That's cool, man. Well, enjoy it.
Yes, thank you very much. So what all do you want to talk about today?
Well, it's a topic that I don't think a lot of people talk about, or even try to even entertain the talking about it. I like to talk about the business of obtaining, which we can use the word obtaining, or getting a sponsorship.
Sponsorship, like a sponsored athlete?
Yeah. I see that there are athletes out there, and we're talking about in the fitness industry. Okay, I'm not talking about like NFL and I mean that's a whole different category. I'm talking about in the fitness industry. How do you really achieve in getting a sponsorship or an endorsement deal, which is almost the same, but it's a little different levels, right? I see that the athletes they're just going at it very wrong. And now the companies don't want to play. They don't want to play that game. And I think both entities are making a huge mistake.
Well, let me ask you this, and let's start with this. Why why do you think so many people want to be a sponsored athlete and an ambassador, whatever brands are calling these people these days? What is the purpose? Like I mean, I see it myself. You know, every Instagram profile these days has such and such ambassador, such and such athlete. I mean, what does that even mean these days?
Right. You know, that's a really good question. I believe the athletes nowadays in the last 5 years, since social media became really, big, I believe that they just want to attach their name to a brand, and that's the mistake. They just want to say, hey, I'm an ambassador of BeautyFit. I'm an ambassador of Dymatize. And at that point on, from the moment they get that title, it's all downhill, because they didn't build it for a working relationship. The athlete just goes around, and let's talk more bikini, okay? Let's talk more bikini, because I see it a lot more, and women have a lot more influence than men, obviously, right? And I say obviously because it's health and fitness. Guys do get influenced, but I think women are more influenced. Makeup, the whole beauty thing, the skincare, all that kind of stuff, right? Weight loss, all that kind. So when they turn around and they say, I like to be an ambassador of your brand, they just say that. So the brand used to say, sure, here's a code, here's a discount code, and with all your sales, you get a commission. That is the start and the beginning of being successful and being in a successful working business relationship, because there are no milestones. There's no foundation there. There's no set things to do. The company basically says a code, and they say, hey, go do what you got to do, okay? And the athlete goes and plasters it all over the place, goes on Retail Me Not, puts the code on Retail Me Not, and basically crosses her fingers and says, hey, I hope people use my code, right? Now, if I go on Retail Me Not and I see a code, I don't care whose code it is. So they're using, women or men, whoever it is, are using that ambassador's code, and they don't even know it's that person. So now the company is giving discounts to customers, which is fine, because you always want, customers. They've set their discount rates at a certain place, right? A certain position. But now you're paying commission off a code that this person had nothing to do with. They just posted on another website. So I think, and that's why I actually got rid of the ambassador program. The whole affiliate ambassador program, I woke up one morning and I just said, no more. Okay, so I think, you get me so far? Am I talking too much? Is this going to be a show like, okay, Jimmy, let me hear it?
Yeah, you just keep talking. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
but see, here's the thing that bothers me, and I don't think there's that definitive line of differentiation between an influencer, which we've already spoken about, and an ambassador of a brand, because essentially they're out trying to do the same thing. They're just reaching out to every company saying, hey, let me help you sell your product, or hey, give me a coupon code to send out to my million plus followers, audience, whatever, give me a commission off of it. It's, in my mind, it's almost the same thing. And we spoke about this on separate podcast. What makes them so special? What expertise or what credentials do they have to make somebody say, oh, what they're saying about this brand is legit, versus I'm getting a paycheck for this because you're going to buy from me because I say it's the best thing since sliced bread. And it is what it is.
Right. Let's define ambassador and let's define the difference between ambassador and sponsored athlete.
Yes, because I think they're intertwined, and there's clearly a separation, but
Right.
people like using one over the other, obviously.
In the way I think, the way I'm defining ambassador is basically an influencer. Basically, one day you can hold up a ice cream and try to sell it with a code. The next day you can hold up the AirPods and sell. You're an ambassador. You're an ambassador of a brand, but you can do multiple items, multiple brands, right?
Right.
A sponsored athlete is a signed athlete that is committed 100% to that brand, and
they're an actual athlete.
You see, you can't do that. You can't say that because I have women on my team and are huge influencers and influencers, ambassadors, that now they're sponsored and they don't compete. They could be instructors. They could be trainers. They could be. You don't have to be an athlete to endorse.
Well, see, then I consider them a spokesperson of
the
brand.
Same difference.
Well, see, when I see sponsored athlete, I'm thinking Phil Heath. I'm thinking, an NFL player, baseball player, whoever that is a professional athlete of that. That's what they do, and you're paying them for their name, their likeness, to have them on board as an athlete. Like, you can look back to the days of, like, let's just say Muscle Farm, when they had a whole bunch of UFC fighters. They had Tiger Woods, and they were athletes, paid sponsored athletes.
Okay.
Like, I don't see, and you can insert whatever brand you want here, just having an influencer who maybe they don't even work out, but to call them a sponsored athlete,
so
in my opinion, is kind of like,
you're right.
How do you get that title?
All right. So can we just group those two together, sponsored athlete and endorser, just one?
Yeah.
And under that, you got your categories of endorsers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then ambassador is completely separate.
Right. Ambassador is not even under the title endorsee or endorser, right? Okay. Yeah. Is it endorsee or endorser?
The person who's getting it is the endorsee.
Endorsee. Okay. So you said something here as you were talking, and I want to elaborate on that. When someone is committed to the brand, you say as a sponsored athlete for their name, face, and likeness, right? For who they are and what they represent. So let's just say, and this is where the mistakes are, okay? Let's just say they just turned pro in the IFBB Pro League.
Okay.
And somebody approaches me. I'm going to use me because I live it. So I don't want to talk out of content. I mean, I live it every day. And they approach me and they say, Jimmy, you know what? I'm looking for a sponsor and I'd like to endorse your brand. All right. There's a checklist in my head checklist of questions that I ask. All right. And I would love for this checklist to be written down. Whoever's listening to this and is looking to get an endorsement deal, to set up before you approach any company. Could be sneakers, could be anything, all right? What's your background? What's your story? How are you going to represent my brand? What tools do you have to represent my brand and to communicate my brand to people? What do you need from me for you to be successful? So that's a very key word, because if you don't know, then you're not going to be successful. You need to know what you need to be successful. At least the basics. Okay. And what do you want for it? See, when someone comes to me like that, like 9 out of 10 times, I'm not interested. But when someone kicks down my door and says, Jimmy, here, this is what I can do for you, even if it's not, there's a risk, right? Wherever anything we do, there's a risk. Okay. So this is what I have in mind. This is what I can do for you, and this is what I want in return. They got my attention. They got my attention because there's confidence here.
Right.
Right. But when I hear, do you sponsor athletes? You know what my first question is? Do you take BeautyFit? And some of them say yes, and some of them say no. Or some of them come to me, and as I'm talking to them, right, I go on their IG, and they still have a link to their previous sponsor.
Oops.
You know? So if you guys listening to me, guys and girls, make sure that you've cleaned out all your social media and links and codes before you approach another company, a legitimate company that really you guys can definitely benefit from. If a company turns around, I got to tell you, if a company turns around and knows you're endorsing somebody and you're leaving somebody, or you still have your code and they say, hey, delete that code and that link, here's this link and here's a new code, that day or that next day, you're spiraling down to the bottom of the barrel. Take some time out, assess where you want to go, assess what you want to accomplish, and find that business partner and platform to do it. Sometimes you have to give something to get something, especially the new pros or the new people, the new athletes who want to turn pro, who actually really want to turn pro, who bleed this, that want, they're good at it. Because once you set yourself once you align yourself with a company and you grow with that company, that's when the true endorsement deals come in. And I feel so far, I haven't seen any. You know,
I think the problem with today's ambassadors and athletes, whichever direction you want to go with the terminology, is that they're looking for some type of, they want like that badge of honor of saying, hey, I'm a sponsored athlete.
Yes.
Want to be able to put it in their profile, hey, I'm an ambassador for this, to make themselves seem like they're relevant or they're or something in whatever industry they're a part of. But at the same, previously, you're coming to me, whoever looking for a sponsor, and you've never used the products. Why are you coming to me? Why are you saying that you would be a good representation of my company when you've never tried the products? You don't know if they're going to work for you. Like, you have to have some type of skin in the game.
right.
Like, I remember every single show that I went to when I was with Metrex, they would say, hey, what do I have to do to be a sponsored athlete? And they would walk up to me, one of our main competitors was Optimum and ABB, under the Glambia umbrella. And they'd be wearing the shirt, Optimum Nutrition or ABB, American Bodybuilding, whatever the case may be. And I'm going, you're really going to roll up to me, ask me how you can get sponsored
When you're
wearing my main competitor's shirt.
right.
Like, if you walked up in a Metrex shirt, I might say, hey, maybe this guy is a diehard user. And, we've had tons of those. But it's like you said, it seems like every, Tom, Dick, and Harry is coming up. They want something from you. And it's not a matter of them saying, "Hey, what can I do for you?" They're flipping the script. They're like, "Hey, what are you guys going to do for me if I'm an athlete or an ambassador?" And it's totally wrong the way that people are approaching it these days. And in a sense, I kind of blame the industry for that, because
No,
the
I agree.
industry
That's what I'm
is
saying.
who's giving all of these ambassadors the spotlight
Right.
for what? I
Right.
mean, you work out once a week, you have an ambassador code in your profile. What's going on here? Like, I think that things are getting out of hand. I think there needs to be some type of, and you're not going to be able to enforce it in the industry as a whole, but stop calling ambassadors athletes when they're not even part of our industry, but they're using. I was going to say a brand. I'm not going to, but they're using this brand and just whoring out the name for money.
Right.
I mean, if you look at their profile, they're really not even talking about health, fitness, supplementation, none of that. But they're an
But
ambassador.
again, that's, to me, that's okay in the business, because they're doing what they're doing, and that what I want to, what I'm talking about is these athletes or these people looking for an endorsement deal. All right. How to approach a brand, how to approach a company, and the way they're doing it is so wrong. Let me tell you a quick example. 3 years ago, no, 2 years ago, I had 36 sponsored athletes, like basically sponsored, endorsed. I had 35 or 36 on Team BeautyFit. Okay. It was working out in the beginning, but then I became the big brother. I was a softie, you know. You know how it goes, right?
Right.
They would hit a soft spot. I can't do it today. Sorry, I'll be doing this tomorrow. My dog died. I can't do anything for 2 weeks. I can't do this demo, because back then demos were big, right?
Yeah.
So I woke up one day, Team BeautyFit, gone. Send an email out to everybody. You know what I said? I said, whoever is going to come back and buy the product, they're going to come back on the team. Okay? Do you know how many girls are still buying the product? Because they came to the team, they came to BeautyFit, and they love before the product, and still do. I had 2-3 girls, pros, that screwed up their contract. I dropped them. And the only brand that they were taking was BeautyFit since day one. They still buy BeautyFit through somebody else. And they're with another company. Okay? So some don't buy. Some just, I'm not saying, they whoever's not on Team BeautyFit now, some of them don't even buy, nothing. They, but what I did a test, and more than half still purchase full price BeautyFit products. And yesterday I signed a new girl. I'm starting to build the team. Okay. I'm getting it ready for 2020. I'm gonna do some big things in 2020. Either we're gonna go way out there, or we're gonna go out of business. I'm swinging for the fences in 2020.
You'll be knocking on my door.
Yeah.
Matt, is that extra bedroom
like
still
that,
open?
you know that bench. So yesterday I signed an athlete to the team, and she went through extensive interviewing and time. We've been talking 2 months, 3 months now, and I wanted to see. I kind of said some things maybe to piss her off. I kind of said some things to discourage her. She kept coming back. I said, "You're in." I got the contract yesterday. Tomorrow I'm signing another athlete. So you have to fight. What to the athletes out there, you have to fight. You have to make the company or the person, the contact you're talking to, you have to let them know you want this. You have to show them you want this and work it out. Work it out. Don't just take a code and get free product and then just post. Work. Find a way to make it work, because once you get into a brand, and I see it all the time, brands aren't successful because they got lucky. It's hard work, man. You know that, right? Go into the brand and stick to it, because sooner or later, you're going to have a full-time job in that brand.
Now, let me ask you this. For athletes in general, or even ambassadors, do you feel like they have to be 100% exclusive to your line in terms of what they take? So, for instance, if I was a bikini competitor and I came to you and I said, hey, Jimmy, I would love to be an athlete of yours. I've been buying your product for years, blah, blah, blah. You can go in your system, you see I'm buying, but let's say I like, this is going to be a low blow, someone else's protein powder over yours. Is that a deal breaker in your opinion? And we'll just use you as, as the point of contact here, versus, saying if you were a regular, supplement company.
Right.
So if I was a bikini competitor.
You're close. You're close.
No, I'm not. I'm nowhere close. But I use somebody else's products as well as yours.
Okay.
Is that a deal breaker, or do you expect everyone to be 100% exclusive?
If I have the product, you have to use BeautyFit. Okay. If I don't have the product, like maybe because we don't have bars, right? Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with that. We actually have deals right now. There's one girl that is part of the team and coming on the team that she's with one bar. I happen to know the boys over there. I got no problem. As soon as we have, bars, which I'm working on, freaking bars are just crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Then I would ask for them to, endorse what we have. But again, that's a very sensitive spot because, we're all humans, right? So we also have things that we like and don't like. So that's a tough call. And I'm going to pull myself out of the CEO position. That's a tough call. But if that brand has the product, I would definitely think that's the product. Period.
And I'm not going as far as saying having that individual also go on social media and promote a product of a different brand. I just mean in general, like
behind the scenes.
I use 95% of this company's products. Yeah. But I really like the flavor or the profile of this other company, so I use that product with the 95% that right. I would use from.
I would suggest they keep it private.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But I also think that a lot of athletes these days are living in the past. For instance, we had Phil Heath on our team for a couple years, and it was when he first, turned pro. He was, kind of making his mark in the industry. Mm-hmm. He started placing better in shows. His contract came up. He left to go to Muscle Farm. And the difference in contracts was...
No, he went to Iovate, Muscle Tech.
Muscle Tech. What did I say?
Muscle Farm.
Oh, God. Yeah, not Muscle Tech. And, I mean, he was almost getting 7 figures from Muscle Tech to go there. And we just didn't want to pay that. But athletes these days are still thinking that their value is worth some big bucks. And I'm not seeing that these days. And I don't know many brands out there that are even really looking at athletes in the same sense. Yes, you have the hardcore brands that are looking for that specific bodybuilder type of image. Like, it's kind of like you're with BeautyFit. You're looking for fit females. They don't necessarily have to be, IFBB Pro Bikini, even though a lot of your customers are. But they could be fitness, they could be figure, any female in general. But I feel like a lot of them are sitting back and going, okay, well, I'm an IFBB pro or I'm an up and coming NPC athlete. I deserve, some type of financial gain for you using my name. And I don't see that being the case these days. A lot of it is here's an allowance every month that you can get free product. Is that an accurate statement from what you're seeing from an owner's standpoint?
I actually did the free product as well. And because
did away with the financial side of it.
Well,
like I'm not going to give you a check.
I had combinations. So let's go back to the Phil Heath. Okay. Yes. Phil Heath, I think, was getting, I don't want him to call me up, but I think he was getting back 700, 750.
Accurate.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay. And Jay was up there too. But here's the thing. Yeah. Iovate, when they gave them that contract for 750, they already put down the numbers, and they said, Phil, here's your money. Here's 750,000. And they already know that in that year, he's going to be on the road 36 weeks out of the 52 at $15,000 a pop just for an appearance. Okay. Just for an appearance, plus the shows, plus the prize money, plus this, plus that, plus the sales of the product. Okay. Yeah. So that's where they say, hey, we're going to front you what you might make, but we got the rest. And that's where today's athletes have total mistake. I mean, they're just not getting it. And you just said it. For you to use my name, I want to be paid. Tell me the value of your name, and how are you going to make me money with your name? I'll pay you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I can't wait for people to kick down my door and say, Mentis, you're a freaking idiot. You need me. I'm like, talk to me, right? Tell me what I'm doing wrong. If I need you, sit down, man. Let's talk. If a female bikini competitor came to me and says, hey, you need me? I'm like, why do I need you? Tell me. Well, I have so many followers. I have this, I have this, I have this. We can test it out. We can do some posts. Like, give me a plan. Give me a plan. I'm in. What today's athletes are failing is they just want, and the companies aren't giving anymore.
You need to look at it like a business.
It is a business.
You are a personal brand. You are a business in and of yourself. So you need to go to a brand,
right?
Any brand that you love, that you use, and have a business plan,
right?
Of, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. This is what I'm capable of doing. This is, these are the numbers that I feel I can bring into you on a growth standpoint, on a sales standpoint, whatever the case may be, whether it's web traffic, more engagement on social media. Have a plan.
Right.
I want to do posts on your blog. I want to do social media content for you. I want to have a coupon code so that everyone who's on the fence, who sees that I endorse it, can get something. Maybe we can work a deal that I get a little on the back end, a percentage of whatever those sales are that I generate, not that you're just going to give me something for doing nothing. You have to have a plan. It's a business.
Nobody nowadays is going to pay you to eat, train, and shit. Nobody. Because
those days are gone.
Those days are gone. But the thing is, when we used to eat, train, and shit, we made money.
Yeah.
Now, no one's making money because there's no delivery on the other end.
It's tough though too, and I don't want to downplay the athletes themselves.
No, but their approach is off.
Correct, but at the same time, times are changing, the industry's changing, and the old school Ronnie Coleman using BSN products to become Mr. Olympia, 8-time Mr. Olympia, nobody believes that shit anymore. Okay? Jay Cutler using Muscle Tech, back in the day, You know, whether it's Phil using Metrex or Muscle Tech or, you know, whatever. People are like, oh, I need that. I need that. I need that. The protein. Oh, I need this. I need the creatine. I need the, you know, all this stuff. People, consumers are smarter these days. So the value of the athlete, in my opinion, at least, is going down because they can say, hey, I use this product, but people are going to go, cool, but you don't look like that because of this product. So, you know, times are changing, and I think the athletes need to leverage their brain more than their name, because it has to be more of a, I can do this for you in exchange, I want this in return, versus I'm just going to say that I use this product and you're going to make millions like you did in the 90s and early 2000s. That's not happening these days. Right. Not even NFL athletes, NBA athletes are you know, showing, say, the Gatorade or whatever, and be like, oh yeah, I use this to recover, and they're like, cool. But you also have ice baths, you have massage therapists, you have, you know, physical therapists that are, and athletic trainers that are working on you after every game. You're going through all these other treatments, cryotherapy, whatever. That one Gatorade bottle that you're going to drink post game, post match, post whatever, it isn't going to be the end all be all of why you're successful day in and day out. So times are changing, and like we discussed earlier, you need to look at it from a business standpoint these days of, you're going to somebody, what do you have to offer? Think of it as an interview. You're putting your resume out there. This is what I've done. This is what I'm capable of doing. This is what I, you know, think I can do for you. You know, let's do some trial, whatever the case may be. Heck, maybe you go in there and think of it as an internship, where, like you said before, hey, let's do a couple posts, see how the engagement is. If I see the traffic is coming from you, yeah, cool. Let's sit down. Let's finalize this because I really like what I see, whatever. It's just, like you said, the approach is way off these days.
Right. I'm going to, and it's a shocker, I'm going to disagree with you a little. Because I usually agree.
That's not a shock. You disagree with me every day. Listen, people, one of these days I'm going to write a book, and I'm going to put in everything that Jimmy Mentis said that I was stupid on or he didn't agree with.
They know what goes on behind the scenes, right?
It's going to be a 3,000-page novel.
I'm surprised we're still friends. Here's where I'm going to disagree with you a little. Yes, the athlete holds it up and says, I use it, and some will say, well, you didn't look like that taking this product. Number one, they should be using the product, okay? And number two, sometimes it's not always about them using the product. It's about the consumer having an emotional connection with the athlete and the brand. Okay, the athlete, I love Phil Heath. I'm going to buy some Muscle Tech to support him, as long as the brand follows through with a decent product.
Right.
They will find. I have so many women coming to me that buy the product, buy BeautyFit product, because of me, which is crazy, right? So I have an influence on a female because of my credibility in the industry.
Right.
And they buy product because they trust me. Do I use Beauty Bum every day? No. Right? No. But do I look like I use Beauty Bum every day? No. Got to be honest with you. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like rubbing that shit on me, and sometimes I don't want to rub that shit on me. I'm not in the mood. I'm honest, right? I'm like, let me just go train. And sometimes like, I got my meals in, let me put some Beauty Bum on and let me go, right? By the way, I love the chocolate. Freaking love the chocolate. Okay? So they create that emotional connection with the athlete, with the brand, and they support it.
Yeah.
The product has to be good so the consumer can support the athlete and the brand. And I always said it. the women that I bring on the team is to inspire and motivate women. If I bring anybody, let's just say I did a booth at the Arnold or the Olympia, and I brought a team of 3 girls or 4 girls to be behind the booth, and I had a line of guys, I missed the target. I missed it. I want women on the team who will inspire and motivate other women, and these other women want to approach my athletes. See, that's where I disagree with you. It's not always that sell. It's about creating the emotional connection, right? Yes, of course, they have to take the product. Yes, but that's up to the brand to be legit and say, hey, you know what? If you don't use the product, I just posted the other day. There's a girl, and I didn't catch it. Somebody else in here caught it. There's a girl that had just posted 3 videos of her putting something else on, another brand. And she bought $140. And I'm like, that can't be her. And we looked at her history. She had 6 or 7 orders of the same product. And I'm like, should I tell them? And that's why I posted. I don't want to be the bad guy. I don't want to be the idiot. I don't want to be the bully like someone posted. But I just felt it was not fair.
Right.
Did she buy my product? Yeah. She buys my product. I'll take your money because I know I have a good product.
Right.
But I don't think it was just fair. Like I felt our industry, because I'm very tight with in our industry, right? I feel one big family. I just felt we were violated, like someone's taking advantage of all of us. And that's where I got, bent out of shape. Not because she's endorsing someone else's product and she was buying mine. No, she was taking money, and she's a very well-known pro. She was taking money from somebody, which I really don't respect the brand, or the person, but still, you got to do the right thing. And she's buying, and then I went on her posts, and she's like talking about the product, and people are asking her, and like, oh, go here, here's a coupon, do this, while she placed an order. Right? So that's where I got a problem with this. You gotta treat this as a job. This is not, hey, what are you going to do for me and pay my hotel? What are you giving back? What value are you bringing back to that brand? Anything.
Right.
Because sometimes you might not know, but if you open that doorway and if you open that opportunity, somebody within the marketing team, somebody within in the organization might say, hey, I got an idea with this. And you never know what might happen. So that's where I wanted to talk about this, is like, I want everybody to wake up and stop saying, give me. What if we turned around the brands that says, you give me?
Yeah.
What happens if we stopped sponsoring shows? No shows. You can't compete. So
you know who had an interesting relationship with the brand, and I've never seen it duplicated or replicated ever, and I can say this with experience, is Greg Plitt.
Yes.
I worked side by side with Greg. Man. 8 years. And he was everything that I think someone who's sponsored should be. While I wish he would have promoted the product a little more, he did exactly what you spoke about a few minutes ago, which was create that emotional response and respect with his followers, so that when he did have that ask, hey, I love this product, I would highly recommend it, people would look at it with sincerity. Right. That, okay, he gave me so much value up front. Right. Like Gary Vaynerchuk says it all the time with his jab, 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 right hook. That's literally what Greg Plitt did every single day.
Could you
I'm going
imagine
to
if
add
Greg,
value, I'm going to add value, I'm going to add value, and then I'm going to have the ask.
could you imagine if Greg had social media?
Well, social media was really starting to crank up, right before his passing.
Yeah.
But if he was still alive to this day, I think he would probably have more followers on social media than anyone.
Yeah. And
anyone.
And real followers, and he would be the Kim Kardashian of health and fitness.
Yeah. But that's what goes back to my whole ambassador athlete. Greg never competed, but technically he was one of our athletes.
Right.
But I mean, I had so much respect for what he did, both with the brand and outside of the brand, that I think if a lot of the athletes these days would kind of take a chapter out of his book and replicated the success that he's had,
right,
and that is build a true following. Greg didn't give a shit about his numbers. Oh, I got so many views on this video. His whole thing was he knew he was doing the right thing when he stood at the Metrex booth, and his line was out the door of people that wanted to come talk to him.
Mm-hmm. And he took all the time in the world, one by one, and he talked to everybody.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of athletes should be looking to do something like that these days, where, you have a face, you have a name, yes, you're a pro, but what can you add to the industry? Because that's just going to further increase your value to a brand. If a brand just sees you on social media with, tit and ass shots all day long, cool. That brand's going to probably get a whole bunch of, perverts. Right. They're not going to turn into, sales. Like if you hire 5 new athletes today and all they do is post, tit and ass shots, cool. But 90% of the people that are engaging with that photo aren't going to buy your product because it's a bunch of dudes.
Right.
And I'm not saying that BeautyFit, only caters to one gender versus the other, even though you're kind of slightly, skewed more towards the female population. You need to be adding the value that people will appreciate and want to engage with you and want to, listen to the things that you have to say and the things that you're doing. So I really don't have anything else to add on that.
I just hope, whoever listens to this just takes down some notes and the one takeaway I want, the listener or the viewer to take home or to take away is go to the brand or the company with a plan. It doesn't have to be a perfect plan. It doesn't have to be the right plan. Okay, there's something in that. If that plan doesn't work, there's going to be something in that plan that other person on the other side might see something in there, and you just might take it from there. Go approach the company with a plan. Put it all down. If you were in my shoes, if someone's coming to me, put yourself in my position, and what would you want from someone who's going to approach for an endorsement deal? That's all. Because this easy way out is not working. I get hit every day, and I'm sure. And I'm not a big company, Matt. You know that I'm not a big company. We do a lot of international work, a lot of international distribution, but we're not that big company. Do I want it to be a big company? That's a whole different other question. But there's some other companies out there, big companies that would love. There's some great athletes out there. Great athletes, but these companies don't want to take that risk.
Right.
So that's my takeaway. Do the work, go with a plan, and be solid. Be confident who you are.
Absolutely. So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys got some value out of this, got some insight, some ideas. If maybe you're in the position where you're an up and coming athlete, or maybe you're just somebody who's looking to do some type of ambassador program, but you can bring something to the table. Hopefully you got something out of this and you got the ideas that how you can structure what you present to a certain business, whoever it may be. But we just appreciate you guys being here. Obviously you could have spent the last almost hour doing
Hour?
whatever the heck you wanted.
Wow.
Yeah, we're almost on. We're like 50 minutes or so right now.
Oh.
So thank you guys for joining us. You know, we have a Facebook group called Fit Business Official over on Facebook. You know, we would love to have you guys there. We obviously post all of these episodes over there. So if you're part of the group, you'll never be able to, you know, not see an episode because we post it there every single week. But there's a lot of engagement that goes on over there with different chiropractors and nutritionists and, you know, business CEOs and CMOs. You know, everybody is there. So if you want to be a part of that, we would love to have you there. If you just type in the search Fit Business, it'll come up. The real name is Fit Business Official, just because somebody ended up taking our name before. But we would love to have you guys there. Thank you so much, whether you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, you're watching it on YouTube, which if you have to look at us for the last 50 minutes, I apologize, and you deserve an award for that. But with that being said, I got nothing else. I hope you guys are having it's actually, when we publish this, the 4th of July. So happy 4th of July to all of you guys if you're listening on Thursday on the 4th. With that being said, I got nothing else. Jimmy, what about you?
Peace.
See you guys.